A delegate from Utah. This is your first time at a convention?
It is.
How's it been so far?
It's been a little while, but it makes it more fun.
So I wasn't here. I wasn't inside. I was covering outside. But Ted Cruz last night was a whole thing. He used to be kind of like the future. A lot of people thought he was the next big thing,
Yes.
and then he's getting like hauled off here. What was it like in here?
It was pretty crazy. The people were on their feet the entire time. I think they loved what he said. And then the moment they realized he wasn't going to follow through, they turned on him just like that.
Now, were you pretty consistent in supporting Trump throughout the primary, or you kind of evolved because a lot of Republicans have kind of been on different sides of the Trump question?
I'm still pretty undecided. I was originally Rand Paul, then Ted Cruz, and now looks like Trump will be the guy in November, but I'm hoping tonight he earns that vote.
It's funny because if I'm openly progressive and Rand Paul's the only one I would vote for if I had to. That's kind of, I think, the story of this election. Someone like Rand Paul, who without Donald Trump could have broke through with a lot of young people like his message of let's get out of all these countries and this and that. So with Trump, you're undecided. What's the stuff that kind of irks you the most? Because I feel like the people who are undecided might be more conservative in their viewpoint, but some of the things he says kind of just are too far.
Right, yeah, he just doesn't seem to take his position seriously. He doesn't seem to want to reach out. It's kind of like my way or the highway. Either you love me or you hate me, and I don't care. That just rubs me a little wrong.
In terms of his policies, I don't know what they are because he's very, he says make America great, which is kind of like, it kind of has a tone like let's go back to the 1950s when, women made dinner. That's what I get from it. What do you think of his whole spiel? Like, is there anything under it?
I don't know. Make America work again makes me a little nervous. What, are we going to go to war and we all got to work in the camps? I don't know, but,
You sound like a Bernie Sanders supporter, not a Trump supporter.
No, but, I think the problem is we hear so often all these great ideas or thoughts, but no idea. He wants to build a wall, but how? How's he going to pay for it? Who's going to build it? Do the people really want it? Did he have the authority to do it? We don't know. None of that's addressed.
But I also think in terms of like priorities of what's the biggest problems in America, most independents wouldn't say Mexicans. They would say like, I have to work 2 jobs, or I have crappy health care.
Personal liberty, personal freedom, the government out of my space so I can do what I want to do. Sounds to me like he wants to bring in more government.
Well, if you remember, he was one of the first that said Apple should absolutely give the government their, phone access to find out, to get access to the San Bernardino shooter.
I prefer dangerous freedom than peaceful slavery.
So you're obviously a libertarian lady. Let me ask you, because we probably don't agree on that much, but in terms of the Muslim ban and Mexicans, he referred at a rally, pointed to a black guy and said, look at my African American. Is this kind of what you want the Republican Party to stand for?
No, I think he's made some terrible choices. I have a black son, and I do find offense in some of the things he says because he has no filter. And I think he loves to get people excited. He loves to rile them up and see what he can get away with.
And also, with you said an African American son, he's now talking about I'm the law and order candidate, which is to me has some coded connotations under it. I'm assuming your son's a little younger, but are you worried with him as president? Do you see like this epidemic we're seeing with African Americans being disproportionately shot? Are you concerned at all about what a Trump presidency with the whole machismo and the law and order would do?
No, not so much with my son. I do have concerns with his, I'm not in favor of his Muslim policies. I'm LDS, and I think about what my religion went through.
What's LDS for people?
Saint, a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint. And we were driven out town by town, called horrible people, horrible names. We were going to do all these terrible things, and we were evil. And I don't agree with that, and I don't think we should be doing it to another culture now.
I also think with Trump, he's kind of like been very smart in terms of there's a lot of people frustrated with their economic situation, and he's kind of given them a target. you know, like to throw their arrow, and it's the Mexicans, the Muslims. Don't get me wrong, there is terrorism going on abroad, but I always ask the conservatives, well, are you concerned about the mass shootings and all the death going around? Only if it's a Muslim who shoots, they're concerned. So I guess overall, do you think, obviously you weren't for him and you're still undecided, do you think in some ways Republican voters, like the classic Republican voters that are for him, are kind of getting conned? Because a lot of his positions are not conservative.
I believe that a lot of the Republican voters that actually support him, I think his base is very small, and those that do support him see him as their only chance at a semi-decent Supreme Court nomination, and that is what this is about to them, the Supreme Court nomination, and that everything else has to go by the wayside right now.
And in terms of, I've been around the country, and I could tell you it's very rare to see black people or Latinos at a Trump rally. You see a lot of white people, and also when I talk to a lot of them, there's kind of this feeling that our culture is being attacked. And these immigrants are trying to change America, almost like they're feeling threatened. Do you think he's kind of like preying on people's worst racial instincts in some ways?
Well, I hope not, because that's the votes we need. But also, in the Republican Party in general, for the last 10 years or more, there haven't been a lot of Republicans who are of other ethnicities. So if you only have maybe 10% of your base of Republicans are black or Muslims, at a rally, you're only going to see a very, very, very small portion. So that doesn't concern me as much, but it is.
But, Romney only got 27% of non-white people, which you can't win that. I mean, Bush got 40% and he won. To Rand Paul's credit, he actually went out and went into African-American communities before he ran. I remember him doing something with MTV or BET or something like that. Trump hasn't done that. Do you think in general, I know you're more libertarian, but if he loses, which he probably will, do you think the Republican Party finally needs to say, all right, we have to actually be inclusive. We have to have immigration, sensible immigration, not I want to get you out of the country.
Oh, I hope so. Even just being here, I wish the RNC and the Donald Trump campaign would be more open to other ideas. The roll call vote, it was squashed. Like, we don't want any discussion, no debate, and...
were you somebody who wanted to kind of cause a little trouble?
Yes, and it was not allowed, and I think that kind of attitude is why we're losing numbers in the Republican Party.
That's not democracy.
No.